It's exhausting work. Women and girls pump and fetch water in the blistering heat of the day in the remote areas of South Sudan, where they say water supplies are drying up. The local authorities here in Pibor say women are the most impacted by the country's worsening water crisis because they are responsible for getting supplies and are vulnerable.
Water is a big challenge in Boma State. In some counties like Gumruk, women are traveling 7, 8, 9 hours to get clean water, only to get 20 liters of water. In their way, they are getting many challenges. Some of them has been raped on their way to get water.
Elizabeth, a mum of 3 in Pibor, said she has been repeatedly attacked while fetching water and also gathering firewood. 2 years ago, she says she was raped at gunpoint by 2 men who ambushed her. She told us all women face this problem and it's become part of daily life in South Sudan, which until a peace deal was signed in the autumn, had been in the grips of a 5-year civil war. This has left the country awash with small arms, making women even more vulnerable. Elizabeth said it's worse for the more remote communities, like this one in Gomaruk, where there is even less access to the few water pumps that are available. Well, here in Gumruk, which is just outside of Pibor, only a few hours drive by car, of course, it's a much longer walk if you're on foot. The communities are saying that there's people literally dying of thirst every year because of water scarcity. Behind me is a seasonal river, but at the moment it's just a kind of soupy mess. It is going to dry up in the next few weeks, and that will leave people without any source of water. At the moment, this isn't even clean drinking water. That means that it's up to the women to walk maybe up to 9 hours a day just to get jerry cans full of water for their families, and they face quite a lot of violence along the way. A several-hour drive further into the bush is Manubal, one of the most remote areas. Here, the water shortages have been made even worse by armed groups who deliberately attacked water pumps during the civil war to devastate rival communities. Here, at least 100 water pumps like this one have been destroyed, leaving families without any access to water. Today, Oxfam have sent a team to assess the damage in order to try and repair some of them.
There are so many areas he mentioned this side. There are almost 5 areas with no boreholes. They only stay there during rainy season. The vulnerable elderly people are just left.
Oxfam says its water programs are woefully underfunded, despite the fact that at least 2/3 of the country rely on assistance from aid agencies to get hold of clean water. The South Sudanese Water Authority, meanwhile, says only 0.1% of the government budget is earmarked for them. The authorities have warned that the lack of water is creating fresh conflicts now as many are fighting over water resources. It could also spark another wave of displacement, piling pressure on the urban centres and the government, who have to find ways of providing for the people on the move.
Water is life. Without water, there will be no life. And in the Republic of South Sudan, the need for water is great, it's critical. Critical in the sense that without provision of water for people, for human beings, and for livestock, then there is likely to be some localized conflicts. And provision of water, potable water, will save lives, will reduce conflict, will improve livelihood of our people, and it will go a long way in causing change, transformation in our nation.